Hello again gamers, and welcome to my fourth collection video, third one on Sony systems, and this one is exclusively on the PS3. I've always been a Sony person, probably because my first console ever was the first PlayStation, and the PS3 is the system for which I have the most games at the moment. I'm going to go through them all in alphabetical order. Brackets, then numbers, then letters. So you see my first game here is Prototype. Sandbox superhero game by Activision. Really amazing game. It came out along with the same time as Infamous, and they had some similar gameplay elements, but I can't choose between the two. It's very hard to pick. They're both individual games with their own qualities. This one's more gory, like you can devour people and take their form, which is pretty cool. It has lots of cool gameplay mechanics, and I just really love this game. 007 Quantum of Solace Collector's Edition. Again by Activision. This one is kind of mediocre. It's a third-person shooter with some really weird levels. Like there's this one level where you just need to get to the car and you've been poisoned, so it's just a level consisting of slow walking. So they've made some questionable level design and stuff, so it's an average game at best. American McGee's Alice Madness Returns, a platformer for the system, the second Alice game. Personally, I really liked this. I really enjoyed it. I got this news so I could download the first Alice game as well, because I missed that. I was like 5 when that first came out. Really solid platformer, great story and visuals. Really enjoyed this game. This one I'm playing at the moment, Army of Two, the first one. I don't know how the AI in this game is, because I play co-op with my cousin. He's in the army right now, and when he's on leave he comes over and we play co-op. And as a co-op game, it's really fun, really solid third-person shooter with some interesting mechanics. I think the only thing about this I don't like is using the 6-axis to control the parachute, but apart from that, great game. The first Assassin's Creed. This is also the first Assassin's Creed I owned. I got this used before I started collecting, before I even had a lot of games for the PS3. I think I had like 2 games for the PS3 before I got this game. And this got me addicted to the series and addicted to the console. This is essentially what started my fandom for Assassin's Creed and the PlayStation 3. Before this, actually, I didn't even ask for a PlayStation 3. I got it as a Christmas gift after specifically saying I didn't want a PS3. And then I bought this and I fell in love with the system and the series. So yeah, that's a benefit of used games. You can find stuff cheap and it gets you addicted. Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, my favorite game in the series. Though it feels kind of like an expansion on Assassin's Creed 2, it's still an amazing game. I like the connectivity with the Facebook game, Project Legacy, that added an added layer of fun. There was training recruits. It just added a lot of new stuff, which made it so much more addictive to play. And the aforementioned Assassin's Creed 2. I have it after Brotherhood because it's II, alphabetical order and stuff. Yeah. This is the game that really cemented the series as it is now, with lots of different weapons to use, a wider world, swimming. So yes, this is the definitive Assassin's Creed game. It's also the longest, I believe, not counting 3's naval missions. And with the DLC especially, it's 14 sequences long, which is pretty long. And the aforementioned Assassin's Creed 3. This is my second least favorite game in the main series. No, not that there's anything bad with it. It's still a really great game. I really loved it. It has lots of stuff to do. Like, I think this was introduced in Brotherhood, the full sync thing. But the synchronization missions, full synchronization objectives in Assassin's Creed 3 are, I believe, most challenging. And I really enjoyed doing those. It's a great game, to be honest. Really great new mechanics like naval battles, but something just feels off about it. Like, as you progress more towards the modern era, it becomes less about killing people and more about politics. Overall, however, it's still a great game. And this is my least favorite in the series, Assassin's Creed Revelations. I did not like the hook blade, though I like the idea of ziplining. I did not like the Greek in this game. For example, during the very first big fight with this bald dude from the trailer, I forget his name. I remember he says something like, "Come get me malakas," using an insult as a noun. So that really ticked me off as a native Greek speaker. It's also one of the shortest games in the series. It took me like 2 days to beat this, so yeah. But I did like the fact that they kind of linked Ezio with Altair, linking the first game to the second game saga. Well, that was pretty cool. Batman Arkham Asylum Game of the Year Edition. I think the only thing the Game of the Year Edition added was the 3D. Really great game, kind of a beat 'em up and action adventure game. I don't know what the official category for this is, but what matters is it's an amazing game, great superhero game. Battle Fantasia, or Fantasia, or Fantasia. I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce this, but what I do know is that it's, at least to me, it's a subpar fighting game. It has really nice visuals, and it has Japanese voice acting, so I don't know, like people who like that kind of stuff might see a certain added appeal to it. But especially coming out a bit before Street Fighter 4 came out on the PS3, this just kind of feels like it could have performed better. Though I did read somewhere that Street Fighter did borrow some elements from this game, which would be pretty cool on its behalf. Good game design. But it just feels kind of flimsy to control the characters, because some are really overpowered and stuff. Anyway, Bioshock. This is the only game in the series I own, and I haven't beaten this yet. But I really like it. It's really cool. All the plasmids and stuff, the moral choices. The different endings I think are cool. I don't know for sure because I haven't gotten them yet. I haven't got a single ending yet. But I heard they're pretty cool, and I'll take my friend's word on that. Borderlands is simply amazing. It is so addictive. There's so many things to do, even not including the DLC. I played this co-op with my cousin, and we had a lot of fun. I was Brick, the tank, and he was Mordecai, the sniper. Really fun game. It's an RPG and a shooter, and this game manages to pull it off perfectly. Brutal Legend. Now, I got this from a friend recently, like 2-3 months ago, and I have played the heck out of this game. It is amazing. And after it was over, I downloaded the album with 107 tracks from the game. I made a playlist on my iPod, and I named it Mouth of Metal, and I have that blasting in my car whenever I drive around. This is an amazing game by Tim Schafer and Jack Black. Don't miss it. Bulletstorm Limited Edition. The definitive dude bro game. Like you would get bonus points for shooting someone in the nuts. It is an insane shooter, and if you like that kind of stuff, then go for it. It's actually lots of fun. The only Call of Duty game to grace my shelves is Modern Warfare 2. And that's because I played it a lot with my friends, and I loved the riot shield. I love melee weapons more than guns. And when a friend of mine decided to get rid of his, I couldn't miss out on it. Great multiplayer fun, even though the single player is kind of eh. Castlevania Lords of Shadow is another game I am playing at the moment, but I would rather I wasn't. Essentially, before I bought this game, I heard tons of great things about how amazing this game was, and I couldn't wait to pick it up. I've been looking everywhere to find this for a reasonable price, and a couple of months ago I actually found it really cheap. I found it for only €9, and I was very pleasantly surprised. So I did not hesitate to pick it up. I popped it in the PlayStation as soon as I got home, and I played up to the level after the Ice Giant boss battle, and I hardly liked it at all. I mean, I like all the cool combos and stuff, and the graphics are great, the presentation is great, they got Patrick Stewart narrating, that's just awesome. But I don't know, there's too many quick time events. Like, there's this part where you need to walk across spider webs and it's press X not to stumble, and the Ice Giant fight is very quick timey as well, and I just don't like that in a game. I think it dilutes its quality. So I would say it's a mediocre game at best, at least for me. Civilization Revolution. Civilization game. I think it's kind of watered down. I'm not sure because I haven't played the others in the series. But it's a pretty fun game, even in the single player mode. So if you can find this for a reasonable price, I would recommend you go for it. Dante's Inferno Divine Edition. I haven't beaten this game, and that's just cause I got the Yellow Light of Death before I was, when I was right before the final boss, and I did not have a backup, and I cannot be bothered to play the whole thing again. But it feels like a really good God of War clone. Don't mind that it's a God of War clone, because it's a really good one. It has really solid gameplay. You can unlock abilities on branching paths like Divine and Hellish, I think, or something like that. Basically good and evil. And you get different abilities depending on which tree you choose to follow. It's a really cool game. Real good work by Visceral and EA. The Darkness, which I have not played at all. It's a superhero game, and I did not hear very good things about it, so I just got it for my collection because it was like €2, and I decided why not. Darksiders. Amazing game. It feels like mixing God of War with Legend of Zelda, and with those two game series you cannot go wrong. So awesome game. Great work by THQ. Dark Souls Limited Edition. I've not played this. I've actually loaned it to a friend until about half a week ago, so I didn't get a chance to enjoy the game myself, but my friend had a blast playing this. He really enjoys the high level of challenge. And I actually got this limited edition for €20. I did not expect that. It was on the used shelf in a store, and I did not expect to see any limited editions in good condition. Ignore this little scuff here. Apart from that, it's in really good condition. Everything's in there, the art book, the CD, everything. So it was a really cool find. Destroy All Humans, Path of the Furon. Nothing much to say about this game other than you shouldn't play it. It's a cheesy attempt at recreating the success of the first two Destroy All Humans games. This just kind of feels off. The graphics are meh. It's really glitchy. The humor is terrible. So yeah, I just got this along with Brutal Legend because my friend just said, hey, I got a bunch of games. You want them? So yeah. Dragon Age Origins. I haven't played this game much. I tried playing as a mage, but I got stuck on like the third boss battle and I just couldn't beat it, and then I got Yellow Light of Death, so I figured, salt this, I'll just keep it on my shelf. Driver, San Francisco. This is my favorite game in the Driver series. Ubisoft did an amazing job with this. It is wacky and over the top, and it's just amazing. Basically, instead of doing the Grand Theft Auto-like thing that previous games did, he's in a coma. And don't worry, this is not a spoiler. They tell you this right after the tutorial. No, actually, no, it's also in the tutorial. It's right in the beginning of the game. He crashes his car and he's in a coma. And in the coma, he can possess people and drive their cars. And that's a really cool mechanic. I don't think I've won a single race in this game by honest means. I just possess a lorry driver driving in the opposite lane, and I crash into the opposition, and I win by default because they can't beat you if they're dead. Eat Lead, The Return of Matt Hazard. See, people give this game a lot of crap, but I legitimately enjoyed this. Like, it's repetitive, yes, but there's enough variety in enemies to still make you enjoy the game, and it's not a game to be taken very seriously. It's a parody of the whole gaming spectrum. Like there's this one boss who is an obvious ripoff of Cloud from Final Fantasy VII, and there's a joke about how he still talks in speech bubbles even after all this improvement in gaming that allows for voice acting, for example, making fun of the whole JRPG thing. It makes fun of the 2D sprites of early shooters. Like there's enemies that are literally two-dimensional. You can only shoot them from one direction. From the other, they are like non-existent. And I just think it's a pretty cool game, pretty fun. Enchanted Arms is another game I haven't had the chance to play yet. It's an RPG published by Ubisoft. I don't know what the story is, I don't know what the gameplay is like. I just saw the art at the back of the box, and I think it looks really cool. I think it would be worth a shot. Fallout 3. Again, have not had the chance to play this, and for once I feel ashamed about saying this because the Fallout series is awesome. Bethesda never disappoints, and it's on my backlog. Final Fantasy 13 is something that has disappointed me because I don't like knowing about a game before playing it. I want to be surprised by how good or bad or mediocre it is. And while Final Fantasy 13's story seems interesting, the gameplay is just so easy so far. Especially with auto battle, it just makes it feel so mechanical. I didn't like that about this game. I don't think I'm going to be picking up 13.2 or Lightning Returns unless I hear great things about them. So yeah, I bought this used recently for €6 because I thought it would be worth the gamble. Ghostbusters, the video game, is a game about the Ghostbusters. How can you go wrong? Oh wait. Anyway, this one is a great game. It really makes you feel like you're part of the Ghostbusters team. It is loads of fun, and I would highly recommend this to fans of the movies. Grand Theft Auto 4 is a game I have not beaten, purely because of the sheer size of this game in this open sandbox world with so many missions to do. Essentially, it's a Grand Theft Auto game. There's nothing else I can say about that. It is hilariously fun to play. Well, I'm probably not going to be picking up Grand Theft Auto 5 anytime soon, not having beaten this one. Guitar Hero 5 and Guitar Hero World Tour. Guitar Hero games, I have the band pack because I play the drums and I am absolutely hopeless at guitar and singing. Infamous 2. You may notice I'm missing the first game. I kind of am because I don't have a physical copy of it, but I downloaded the one that Sony gave away for free on the PSN after they got hacked. And it was a smart move of Sony because that got me hooked onto the Infamous games, and I bought the Hero edition of this because the bag was pretty sweet, and it's, I think, the only accessory I've ever been excited for. Overall, great game. It feels shorter than the first one. I'm not sure if it actually is. My only complaint with this is that you can't choose which ending to go for. I wanted to go for the bad ending, but overall, I've been good throughout the game, so it chose the good ending for me automatically. Like, I could go and do thug side quests to boost up how evil I am, but I just felt it wasn't worth it for an alternate ending, so I just went with the one the game gave me. Journey Collector's Edition is an amazing game. I picked this up recently on my game hunting video. I've beaten Flow, Flower, and Journey, and I played all the mini games that come with this. And this is really cool. I'm glad they made a physical copy of the game, so collectors like me and maybe you, if you're collecting gamers, can have one on their shelves. Because Flower and Journey I absolutely loved. Flow is kind of meh. I just feel it controls a bit weird. I had to hold the controller upside down for me to actually be comfortable controlling the critters. But yeah, overall this is a great collector's edition. Totally worth making a physical release. Killzone 2. I have not played this. My cousin has, because I lent it to him, but he didn't really like it, and who am I to argue? Lair. is simply horrible. It could have been a good game if it did not control with the 6-axis, if it controlled like a normal game did. But no, they tried to be gimmicky, and they made one of the worst games on the PS3. I got this for $14.99. This is the bargain bin sticker here. Little Big Planet. Again, something I picked up on my game hunting video. I played this and I feel it's a pretty fun game, but it could have been better. I don't know what, something just feels off about it to me. I can't really place it, but overall it's a solid platformer. It controls well and it has good online co-op, so what more can you ask for, I guess, right? Ultimate Alliance 2. I remember I was really looking forward to this game when it came out. I actually went to the store on release day and paid the full €60 for it. And I really enjoyed this as a kid. I don't know now because it's been ages since I played, but as a younger superhero fan, I really loved this game, especially Deadpool bits on the New Game Plus. Like, if you have Deadpool on your team when you fight Deadpool as a boss, Deadpool on your team is the only one to notice there's a continuity error there, which is pretty funny. Deadpool's just being Deadpool. Speaking of Deadpool, I think I want to get the full game now, the Deadpool game. Anyway, Need for Speed Shift. I have not played this much, again owing to the yellow light of death. But I got this as a gift from a friend because he came over a lot, we played lots of video games, and he's like, dude, I got this game, I'm never playing it. I think you should have a gift from me to you, and I really appreciated that. Need for Speed to Run. I got this last Christmas, and I really enjoyed this game. I think it's not one of the best Need for Speeds, but it's still a really fun game. And you always need to come first in a race to win, so it's not like a points thing with some of the other Need for Speed games, which I think is pretty cool because it really pushes you to beat all the rest. Flashpoint, Dragon Rising. I hate the Flashpoint series. Just like with Path of the Furon, I got this in the huge bundle of games that my friend gave me. Ratchet & Clank, Tools of Destruction, and Ratchet & Clank, Quest for Booty. This was my first Ratchet & Clank game ever, and I love the series so much now. I recently got a Ratchet & Clank 3. I'm going to make a pickups video next week, so I'm going to talk about that more there. Ratchet & Clank is an amazing series. I really love these games, though Quest for Booty was kind of short, but oh well, I'm not complaining. It was still really awesome. Resident Evil 5 is supposed to be a survival horror game, but it's a shooter instead. And co-op, it's actually pretty fun. I played this with my cousin. Again, I did not beat this thanks to the yellow light of death. Just like Dante's Inferno, I was right before the final boss and I did not have a backup save for this, and that was horrible because I do not want to play through the whole thing again because some levels were just really awful. But overall, it's an okay game. This was my first game for the system. My parents got it that Christmas along with the PS3, and it feels inferior compared to Spider-Man 2 because that was like the perfect Spider-Man game. This is pretty alright. I don't like the number of quick time events, especially in the bosses, but there's lots of stuff to do, an open world to explore, and that's pretty cool. Spider-Man Web of Shadows is my second favorite Spider-Man game, right after Spider-Man 2, because I really like the moves you can do in this game, and I like the branching good and evil paths, like, even though it feels kind of like a inferior Infamous, because it has a similar karma system. But what I do like about this, that only this did, was you can call on heroes or villains, depending on whether your allegiance is good or bad at the moment. I played this being mostly good on my first run, and then I was just an asshole on purpose to get all the villains on my New Game Plus, because Black Cat is one of my favorite Marvel characters, so I wanted to be able to summon her. Another horrible game, Sonic the Hedgehog. I actually almost beaten this before the Yellow Light of Death. Not because I played it, because a friend of mine loved the game a lot. I don't know how, but this is horrible. It controls flimsily. It's written like a bad fanfic. I don't know how he liked it. Star Wars The Force Unleashed Ultimate Sith Edition. I actually traded a bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh cards for this game because I was going into video game collecting and out of Yu-Gi-Oh card playing, so it was convenient, I guess. And I liked the trade because I really enjoyed this game. There's lots of stuff to do, even though it's kind of linear. The character controls really well, and you have really awesome force attacks. Though, one thing disappointed me about this. People play Star Wars games because lightsabers are flipping amazing. There wasn't enough lightsaber control, if you ask me. But then again, I don't see how they can do that fluidly with non-motion controls. Overall, great game though. The Beatles Rock Band. Again, I got that in that bundle of games from my friend and I have not had the chance to play this. But it's a rhythm game about the Beatles. I'm assuming this is good. The Elder Scrolls Oblivion is the third game I'm playing for the moment on the PS3. And I love this so much. First person RPGing in a wide world with lots of stuff to do. There's so many side quests you can hardly keep track of them. What I didn't like about this though was that some quests just feel padded. Like there's this one quest where you're supposed to follow this dude into the sewers and he just walks at a brisk pace around the Imperial City to go into the sewers, and that takes forever and it's really annoying. And I really wanted to murder that guy, but I'm pretty sure I would have gotten a game over if I did, because I did that before on another mission and I got a game over and I had to restart from my previous save, which was kind of annoying. But yeah, overall great game. As I said before, Bethesda never disappoints. And just like before, followed by a disappointing game, Legend of Spyro Dawn of the Dragon adds an RPG element to the series, and it's actually not very bad if you play co-op. I played half the game single player on my own. I got it for Christmas several years ago, but then my cousin came over and he grabbed the second control and started playing. And when you're making fun of a game while you're playing it, it just adds so much to the experience. So that was amusing. The Orange Box, Valve's collection of Team Fortress 2, The First Portal, and Half-Life 2, Half-Life 2 Episode 1, and Half-Life 2 Episode 2, is another game I had almost completed before my Yellow Light of Death. This is so annoying to mention over and over again because it was so annoying to happen in the first place. But overall, really great games. I think they're better on the PC, but they're still pretty awesome on the PlayStation 3. And this game is really cheap to get, new or used, so if you want to play a bunch of great games on one disc, then go for this. Finally, Uncharted 2 Among Thieves. I've also beaten the first Uncharted, but that's missing from my collection. This is the only Uncharted game I currently have, and it's also my current favorite because I haven't played 3 yet. I'm pretty sure that's pretty awesome as well. Really great game, pretty challenging as you progress. It starts off really easy at first, but when they introduce like Yeti things, which, okay, I'm not going to talk more about it because spoilers and stuff, but they introduce tougher enemies as you go on, and it gets kind of challenging until it gets really challenging. But it's a great game. Naughty Dog is an amazing publisher. They should not make any more games in the Uncharted series though, because then they'd be milking the cash cow. I really want to play The Last of Us, but that is really expensive and that blows about 2 months worth of gaming budget on one game. So I'm not going to get that just yet. I'm going to wait for a price drop. Anyway, these are all my games, and I'll see you next week for my next video. Cheers.